Today, I'm gonna give you a full guide on Maddelena, which will provide you with a full introduction to her abilities. I will also explain her best awakenings, upgrades, and playstyles to help you master her. And for now, I'm gonna call her Maddelena. Maddelena is a controller on the Urbano side along with Audrey, Bimo, the Healer Girl, Fuchsia, and if you play on the Chinese version or after the beta, Galatea. She's a painter and she uses her paint guns to use her abilities. Her tactical is called Pigment Bind. She will equip a paint gun that will block enemies from going into paper mode if they're on top of the paint. The paint could go on the walls and the floors. The enemies will also be slowed down on contact with the paint, making it easier to hit them. The paint gun reduces your speed quite significantly, but also does not deal any damage to the enemies. It is used to block common areas and give enemies that disadvantage of not being able to go into paper mode. She normally starts off with 2 paint gun bullets that recharge over time and last for around 15 seconds. You can choose to have 20 seconds with her upgrade, or you can have 3 shots with her other upgrade. The paint gun does not affect your teammates, so don't worry about slowing your team down if you think it affects them. Her passive is called Paint Tracks. When she shoots an enemy, they will leave a trail of footprints of paint and will be slowed down. The footprints help locate enemies who are hiding in corners that you're not sure they went to, and it helps you decide if they are worth pushing or not. It's a decent passive, but I wouldn't say it's too strong. Her ult is called Paint Bubble, and it is arguably the strongest ultimate in the game. When she presses her ult, she will take out another paint gun that significantly slows you down, like you can almost barely walk. When she shoots the paint, a small bubble will expand into a massive one and will have a timer before it pops. Enemies within this circle cannot go into paper mode, but allies inside of it can. It also leaves the footprints to help you locate the enemies if they are hiding outside of it, or inside of it. When the bubble pops, enemies within the bubble will also be slowed down significantly and will have a vulnerability effect to help you kill them. They also will not be able to go to paper mode, giving you and your team a huge advantage, and is really great for retaking site or just holding site. Her first awakening is really unique and really fun, and it's called a Wall Whisper. When she fires her paint on a wall that can let you go into paper mode, she will merge inside that paint, turning you into a little bubble. This really decreases her hitbox by a lot, and the paint also heals her over time. The healing isn't much, which is about 2 health per second, but I guess it's still healing. She can move inside the paint, and she usually moves really smoothly, so you can easily juke the enemies. Since this is her first awakening, it is a permanent awakening unless you sell it. You need to buy 2 ability upgrades to unlock this one. Her second awakening is really strong in maps that have a straight path, and it's called Painter's Trail. When Maddelena shoots her paint gun, little paint drops will fall from the shot and cover the whole area in a straight line. Alright, I'm gonna say this early so you can memorize this, so please do. Shoot the paint gun in the sky, or at least higher than normal, with this awakening so you can maximize the distance and amount of area the paint covers. The awakening is really simple, but really good. You also need to buy all shield upgrades and ability upgrades to unlock this, so it takes quite a while to unlock this awakening. Her third awakening is also really good, and it's called a Die Blast. A small bubble will form from where the paint gun bullet landed. It will pop after 30 seconds or when an enemy touches it. When an enemy does touch it, they will be slowed down significantly and will not be able to go into paper mode for quite a while. This does not affect your teammates, so don't worry about slowing them down, and enemies who do touch the bubble are basically dead, as you will be able to kill them really easily, since they aren't going to be able to go into paper mode and will be slowed down. The bubble is also great for blocking vision or 1v1 since it prevents them from pushing you or punishes them if they do push. This awakening also works well with the extra paint bullet, so if you do get this awakening, make sure to have the extra paint bullet. You also need 2 gun upgrades and 2 ability upgrades to unlock this awakening, which is also kind of difficult to get. Next, we are moving on to her gun upgrades. Her gun upgrades are pretty good, but there are some that are quite mandatory to make the best use out of her. For her output upgrade, I would say the 20 bullets over the reload speed just in case you get into a close range fight or in a mid range fight. Even though she shoots kinda slow and she reloads a lot, those extra 5 bullets can help you reload in tight moments and help you get that kill in those 5 bullets. So I do recommend the 20 bullets. For her critical hit, always choose headshot. The damage increase is insane and can a lot of times 2-tap the enemies, but only enemies who bought light shields or just don't have shields. This upgrade can be a game changer and is extremely noticeable if you shoot enemies. It also works really well with her kit as she prevents people from going into paper mode and slows them down. The paper damage is not that useful as her gun accuracy is not great and does not mix well with her abilities since she tries to prevent people in paper mode. So always choose headshot over paper damage. For her accuracy upgrade, I say choose ADS recoil since you will likely be shooting more than 2 rounds at the enemy and the recoil gets out of hand sometimes. It also helps you a lot in longer range fights since that's where the recoil hurts the most. The speed increase is an okay upgrade, but because her paint gun already slows enemies and you'll be able to catch up to them, the upgrade doesn't help too much. For her final upgrade on battery life, improved accuracy is really good as in close range fights where you're shoulder aiming, it helps your gun from spreading all over the place, and if you manage to get a headshot in, it was probably because of the accuracy upgrade that helped you. The ADS speed to me is barely noticeable and I haven't gotten any type of value off of it, or I probably haven't even noticed, so choose to improve accuracy over your ADS speed. For her paint gun upgrades, I say both are good, but the third paint gun bullet takes the win on the defender side. I say if you are defending sites with many entrances, go with the third paint bullet. For example, on this map called Kachi Block, on A site specifically, there are technically 4 ways to enter the site, with the 4th entrance being here. The third paint gun bullet can help you hold A site a lot better. But on the same map for C site, instead it only has 2 ways to enter the site, and those extra 5 seconds for the paint duration help stall the enemies from pushing sooner. The third paint bullet is also just as viable here, as any enemies who do push, that third paint bullet blocks them from pushing you or your team. Now wait, the 5 seconds is just as good as the third bullet, and here's why. The extra 5 seconds are really good on the attacking side, as you need to hold the bomb for as long as you can. And the paint stalls the enemy extremely well, and if they do push, the paint gives them a bunch of negative effects to help your team win the fight easier. So yeah, the third bullet on the defender side and the extra 5 seconds on the attacking side. For her armor upgrade, it is quite difficult to figure out which one is better since it is a team comp situational upgrade. I would say go for light armor most of the time, as this will help you live longer since shields do regenerate over time, unless you get sniped in the head or died in a short span. Light shields really just help prevent you from getting knocked easily after taking damage and retreating. If you have multiple healers though, that would be a pretty good reason to choose heavy shields, since heavy shields don't regenerate your shields, but give you a lot more. I say go for heavy shields if you have many shield healers, and light if you don't. But remember to communicate with your healer if you do choose heavy shields. For her final upgrade, I say the 25% damage reduction is really safe to use, since it keeps you alive much longer, and it pairs really well with her first awakening, which makes her merge with her paint, making it a lot harder to hit her. The enemies are already slowed down from her passive and paint abilities, so it's not really needed too much. Now, you're probably wondering which awakening you should use, and I think the second awakening is great on defense on long paths such as A site on the map Kachi block or on the Dimensional Research Institute on site B. The third awakening is really great for using short paths and blocking vision like on A site on the map 404 base or the window spot on zone 88. Both awakenings have their pros and cons, but I think overall the third awakening is a little bit better in most situations and gives the best effects overall. The third awakening is also a bit more harder for enemies to just push in sight alone if you put it in the right spots. So I said the third one is better overall in most cases, but the second one is also really good too. Now, if you're wondering when you should use your abilities, if you're on the defender side, get into an angle that lets you see or hear the enemy first before they see or hear you. If you think they're gonna push you, you can place the paint down to slow them down or stall their push. You should also place it in a common place where people go into paper mode to minimize the amount of enemies on site. Her paint gun is also good for enemies chasing you. You can simply just shoot your paint right under you or them and prepare to fight. For any enemies who do push you, they will not be able to go into paper mode and will be slowed down. The paint is also good to block enemies who try to sneak up by walking on the walls, so try to pay attention for that. For her ultimate, use it when you think you're going to struggle retaking sight. Make sure to aim in the right place, which is completely up to you, so you'll decide where her ultimate should be. Her ult, in my opinion, is the strongest in the game and is a complete round changer. It is also good to push enemies as soon as you use your ultimate to get the most value, as enemies will try not to stay in the bubble and wait for it to pop. For attackers, I say use your ult if you're struggling to take sight or struggling to hold a bomb. If you're an attacker, it's okay not to push them, as defenders have to push you in order to win if you have the bomb planted. Maddelena does not have many weaknesses, but one of her main ones is her gun accuracy, as it can be really unreliable at times, especially if you're not aiming with your ADS. I've had many encounters with my bullets just spreading all over the place, so try not to jump when shooting for her best accuracy. Her paint gun also does not guarantee wins. The enemies can still kill you, especially if they have a Flavia or Ming, so make sure to play it smart. Another weakness is that her awakening takes forever to unlock. Around 4 or 5 rounds is when you'll probably unlock the first one, and maybe around 6 you'll unlock the second one or the third one, so don't try to rely on her awakenings either. Another weakness is when she takes out her paint gun or her ultimate, she slows down too, so remember to be fully confident when shooting her paint guns. The enemies can still go into paper mode if they go paper mode before entering the paint, so make sure to be cautious of that. Now, if you're wondering what to buy first, for first round, go for headshot damage as it is your top priority. If you win the first round, go for light shields or heavy if you have many healers in your team. If you can't buy any shields although you won, it's up to you if you want to sell the headshot damage for shields, as they are both really great upgrades. If you lost a round, I will sell the headshot upgrade for shields and try to get the upgrade next round. Try getting both her shields and headshot damage first, then try to unlock her first awakening, then her second or third one, whichever you think is the best. After that, the orders for the gun upgrades are all up to you. Now here are some extra tips to remember. The headshots are top priority as they deal insane damage. That's why the headshot damage upgrade is really important. Her utility does not only help you, but your whole team, so remember to be a team player too. Alright, so this is the end of the guide. I feel really confident I got most of what Maddelena can really do, and I tried my best to make it understandable. She, in my opinion, is really fun and her gun is really strong in far range fights, but still be careful, you can still get beamed. On the main guide, I also said a comment down below who you want to guide on next, and Flavia was one of them, so that will be who I'm going to make a guide about. If you want your character to be after Flavia, leave a comment down below and hopefully I'll choose that character next. But yeah, if you want more guides or like my content, subscribe and leave a like, and also comment down below any types of Strinova content I should record and I might try it out. But yeah, bye guys.